Hello, welcome to this session of the Delphi Economic Forum. I am Dimitris Angelidis, journalist for Greek daily Εφημερίδα των Συντακτών, or easier to pronounce EFSIN, and together with the European Commissioner for Home Affairs, and together for Home Affairs, Ίλβα Γιόχανσον, we will go on discussing the topic of immigration as an ongoing issue for Europe. And it certainly is an ongoing issue for Europe, for the European Union, struggling to come to terms with the rise of xenophobia that threatens the Union's foundation, fundamental rights, humanity, and solidarity. Welcome, Commissioner. It's great to have you with us this afternoon. Thank you for joining us, and let me get to the first question without further delay. Commissioner, you just came back a few days ago from a visit to Ankara, Turkey, last week, and I believe you discussed with the Turkish authorities the situation of the EU-Turkey statement of 2016. The statement clearly says it takes only temporary and extraordinary measures. How can they be temporary and extraordinary if they are still valid after 5 years? And how can the statement be considered successful if it is still needed?
I think there are many aspects, but first let me say good afternoon, and I'm happy to be here with you. And of course, we need to have to work with our relations with Turkey. It's our neighbor, it's a partner country, and we better deal with things together. What the European Council said in their meeting in March was that they saw a possibility for a positive agenda with Turkey now, and that's what I was there to discuss in Ankara. And this is going to be discussed in the upcoming European Council in June again with our leaders in the European Union. So what is important from our perspective is that the EU-Turkey statement is still valid, and it contains, of course, different kind of measures in different areas. I focused most on migration issues, and one thing is that Turkey is the country in the world that are hosting the biggest refugee community, 4 million refugees. And in my view, it's an act of solidarity that we should continue supporting the refugees that Turkey is hosting. But on the other hand, it's also necessary that other parts of the statement will be complied with, and that is the returns of migrants from the Greek islands to Turkey and the prevention of irregular departures from Turkey. So this was my message in Ankara, that I really stressed the importance from the EU side that we would like to see concrete actions from Turkey, both when it comes to prevention and when it comes to resuming the returns from Greece to Turkey. But we are also ready to discuss prolonging of the support of the refugees that Turkey is hosting.
Thank you very much. Meanwhile, the European Commission and you personally are involved into making the new pact, the new migration and asylum pact work. Actually, there were expectations long ago for a new agreement. Instead, it seems that disagreements are still on the table, if not deepening. Are you considering amendments to that proposal? Are you planning to press more towards an obligation of real and concrete solidarity among member states? And what is now a realistic timetable for the new pact?
No, first, I'm very proud of the pact on migration and asylum that we put on the table last year. And I think it's a very balanced proposal. And I think almost everybody has also recognized that this is a balanced proposal. So we will not make any amendments. We have put our proposal on the table, and work is going on both in the Council and in Parliament. And we are helping and facilitating that process, of course, with different things like simulations and other parts. So in our proposal, solidarity is mandatory. There is a mandatory solidarity mechanism that when a member state is under pressure, there is an obligation for other member states to help release that pressure. That could be done in different ways. The most important one are relocation or supporting when it comes to returns. But it's also important to say that the pact is a very broad one. It's 500 pages of legislative proposals. And the new thing here is that we have a very strong external dimension, because European Union, well, no member states can manage migration alone, but European Union can neither manage migration alone. So we need to work with our partner countries. And as was said actually in the discussion just before this, we had a very fruitful ministerial meeting yesterday with ministers from several African countries together with the EU ministers. And there was, as I said, it was a successful meeting with an impressive convergence when it comes to the actions that is needed. So what I hear from our partner countries is the growing willingness to work together with us to fight the human smugglers, to prevent irregular departures, but also that we should work together to also protect with border management and with voluntary returns from third country to countries of origin. And this is an area where we are working very intense, and I'm going next week to Tunisia, for example, to continue our cooperation on that.
You said that solidarity is mandatory, but is it really sponsoring returns a real way for a member state to show and to fulfill its obligations of solidarity and human rights in the European Union today?
Yes, I really think so, because well, I think there are too many that take part in debate that still think we are in 2015. In 2015, we had almost 2 million migrants coming irregularly, and almost all of them were refugees. Then, of course, relocation of refugees was on the top of the agenda. Today, a majority of those that apply for asylum are not coming irregularly. They are coming regularly to the European Union. A majority of those that arrive irregularly are not in need of international protection. They will get a negative asylum decision. And I think it's of extreme importance that they are being returned to the country of origin. We must make a clear distinction between those that are eligible to stay in the European Union and to those we could say, you are welcome, we will help you to integrate. But those that are not eligible to stay, they have to return to the country of origin. And this is also an important part to destroy a bit of the business model for the smugglers, because they say to people, pay me, I help you to cross the border or the sea, and as soon as you set your foot on European soil, you can stay. And we have to show that this is not true. If you are not in need of international protection, if you are not eligible for a residence permit in the European Union, you have to return to the country of origin. And we are not performing well enough in the European Union when it comes to returns, and that is what I'm going to change.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. It seems actually that the Commission is putting too much energy and too much time towards the new pact and much less energy to enforce the existing European law. There are allegations of excessive pushbacks at the European borders that put the right to asylum at risk. There have been problems with the family reunification process. There are countries that don't accept asylum seekers, as they should be, and others that want to send Syrians back to Syria. If the Commission cannot enforce an existing European law, how can we trust it to make the new pact work, especially when member states do not seem eager to own it?
Well, I do not agree with you, but of course it's always the role of the Commission to be the guardians of the treaty and to make sure that our acquis are being implemented properly and that member states are following on that. The first thing you mentioned about pushbacks, this is really an area of concern, and I can assure you that when there are alleged pushback, like for example in Greece, we had recently several reports both from UNHCR and from the Greek Ombudsman, for example. This is an area of great concern, and I can assure you that this is something that I discuss intensively with the Greek government and the Greek authorities. And we would like to put in place an independent monitoring mechanism to make sure that there is an independent monitoring of these aspects. There are also other aspects. For example, we had a case in Hungary where they were not allowing people to apply for asylum, and the Commission took that to the court, and the court ruled in line with the Commission's position. There have recently been decisions in Denmark saying that people coming from Syria will not be eligible for prolonged residence permit. And then, of course, I directly talked to the Danish minister, and he assured me that nobody will be sent back to Syria, because that, in my view, will not be appropriate and could be an infringement of the non-refoulement. When it comes to the EU acquis on asylum, as you probably know, Denmark is not part of it.
Thank you. Let me please go a little bit back to the pushback case. I hear about the concern. I hear about the discussion with the Greek authorities. They don't seem that eager to follow on this. And I was wondering how many more years, how many more allegations, how many more reports does it take before the European Commission decides to take concrete measures, maybe an infringement procedure or other measures? And also a question about the Frontex, about the procedure, the examination of Frontex pushbacks. In its report, the working group of the Management Board clearly stated that the Greek Coast Guard provided contradictory and inconsistent explanation in all 5 or 6 cases examined. Yet it couldn't conclude on any wrongdoings or any violations. So this looks more like a PR exercise, if not a cover-up. Is this how far we can go in terms of accountability and in terms of fighting impunity?
No, I don't agree with you on that. Let me talk about Frontex. I think we really need a very robust and well-functioning Frontex to protect our borders, to help us manage migration with returns, and also full-functioning Schengen area for security reasons. And that's why the Frontex management need to live up to high expectations. So it's not a secret that I'm not satisfied that it took a very long time for Frontex to comply with the new regulation. There should have been in place fundamental rights officers a long time ago. There should have been in place 40 fundamental rights monitors long time ago. They are still 0. There should have been in place 3 deputy executive directors long time ago, and we are just recruiting them now. So I think that if we had had the proper reporting system in place, for example, if there had been the proper management in place, I think that the situation that are now being dealt with by the management board should have been dealt with by the executive management of Frontex in a much quicker and more effective way. And this is also what the report points at, that there is a need for a much better reporting system. And the report also says that there is a need for what is the report called a new culture on how to deal with this situations, and I think this is what's really needed to put focus on in Frontex, the governance.
Well, that's all the time we have. Thanks a lot, Commissioner, for this candid discussion and very interesting exchange of ideas and for your views. It's been great to be here with you this evening. Thanks a lot. Have a nice day.
Thank you.